So this is going to be the format for a couple of videos because I want to try something different, and I don't want to record in my closet where it's 102 degrees in there and I'm sweating by the time I finish recording. Without further ado, on with the video. Hi! Yesterday I just saw Blue Beetle in IMAX, DC's new film, and as someone who is looking forward to the Blue Beetle character to show up in live action, this is honestly pretty good. I didn't really have high expectations going into this film, so color me surprised where I walked out of the film and I was like, whoa, wait, that was good. That was really good. Like, whoa. The movie's great. I had a fun time. I think as far as like a superhero origin movie, it's pretty much you're gonna see some familiar tropes. You're gonna see some familiar beats. It's gonna hit this beat, it's gonna hit that beat, it's gonna hit this beat next. But I think the way it does it is very unique and a lot different than you would expect it. How the film talks about like classism, racism, and basically the general like what immigration. It was explored in a way where I was like, oh, they understand what they're doing. It feels authentic, and it doesn't feel like it's fake. It's not trying to win brownie points. It's just trying to tell its story, and that's what I can appreciate. When a movie loves its characters as much as a movie can do, like Blue Beetle, I can mostly forgive its faults. Blue Beetle does have a couple of things I don't particularly like, but at the end of the day, overall, it's a solid 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, even if we're gonna do that. I liked it a lot, and I think you will too. You'll definitely love it if you see it in theaters. Speaking of which, please see this in theaters. You don't have to see it in IMAX if you don't want to. I saw it in IMAX, and I gotta say, it fit the bill. The IMAX scenes were actually pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. Most of the action scenes are in IMAX. That's to be expected, but there are also some scenes where I was like, huh, that's in IMAX. That's interesting. And it kind of worked in the movie's favor. Reportedly, this movie had a budget of $104 million, which is probably why it was originally supposed to be going to streaming before it switched to the theater. I feel like we should have more of these types of superhero movies. Because like recently with the Marvel movies and The Flash and other DC movies that have come out recently, their budgets are like 250 million, 200 million, 250, like almost 300 million. And they really don't look like they cost that much. Maybe I'm crazy. Blue Beetle only being 104 million and looking that good is amazing. That's terrific. Yeah, again, I love the movie. It's really good. By the way, don't worry about The Flash or Aquaman 2 or like any of the other DC movies. You don't need to see any of those. You can just go into this one with like open eyes and a fresh heart. It's so standalone. James Gunn, I can see what James Gunn is talking about, where he says that he's gonna bring in Xolo's Jaime Reyes into the DCU, because this movie is so like in its own world that like at most you're probably gonna hear like, oh, George Lopez says Batman or Superman or The Flash, but that's it. That way they can just bring this movie into the DCU and not really change anything about their plans. It's kind of crazy. Another reason why I think they should bring this to the DCU, which they might. They probably will. It'll be like a sentence or two, but specifically, I want them to bring this Blue Beetle movie into the DCU like plan for like a sequel if they ever make one. I would want one, but it's not up to me. I would love a sequel just because Palmyra City, which is the city that's in the movie, feels so lived in and realized that it kind of hit me while watching it. Where like, oh, this is the type of thing that DC can do to separate themselves from Marvel. It looks like a fictional comic book city, but somehow it has this like grounded and lived in vibe. Like you're not gonna see a Gotham City in the MCU, but with the DCU, you can have like a Metropolis, a Gothic Gotham, and Palmyra City in the same like country. It's kind of crazy. You can just have this in there, and it'll fit because it looks like a real set. It looks like a real city, even though it's not a real city, but like you get my vibe. It fits. Like having these like landmark cities like Central City, Keystone City, Gotham City. You can treat Blue Beetle as an issue 0 or like a prequel issue to the rest of the DCU. And maybe Creatures Commandos has like a 0.5, assuming that comes out soon and the world doesn't end. Overall, very fun time at the theaters. I highly recommend checking it out. if you can. And if you can't, I would highly recommend buying it on digital or waiting until it comes out on Max. Understand COVID is still a thing. And yeah, I don't know. I'm excited, man. I love Blue Beetle. I love Jaime Reyes. I love them in the games and the show and the comics. And I'm just excited that we have a Blue Beetle movie that's like this good. Cause like if this sucked, I don't even know, man. Yeah, it's good. Go see it. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. And I guess read comic books.